Hi there, Karishma. Another set of essays. Great, very happy to see it. Let's take a look at what you've done here, shall we? Okay, so food. Local food, better for the environment and economy. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? All right, let's see what you said. Okay. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether locally available food or globally imported food is better for the sake of the environment as well as people's spending capacity. This essay will discuss both the sides using examples from the Indian government and study of BBC to demonstrate points and prove my arguments. Okay, fine, but it asks you very specifically, to what extent did the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? You didn't answer me. You just said that you're going to discuss both sides. And so essentially, what you're doing is you're keeping me in suspense until you decide to tell me what the answer is. Now, why is that a problem? Check it out. Band descriptors, public version. Look at task achievement. Look at band 7. Presents a clear position throughout the response. What does throughout mean? Throughout means from the beginning to the end. Okay? If you want your position to be clear from the beginning, then you need to express it in your introduction. Okay? So don't keep me in suspense. You should really let me know where you're going with this essay from the beginning. Okay? Great. So there is evidence is uncountable, so it's always is. So there is ample evidence that imported food, get rid of the, that imported food satiates people. Okay, at utmost amount of unique taste and choices. I don't know what that means. I think you're trying to say that imported food satisfies people's desire for unique tastes and choice. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, imported fruits and vegetables have it's two things, fruits and vegetables, have their own significance. No, not significance, have their own characteristics, such as unusual color and shape that lures people to purchase them. Secondly, in comparison to the past, or you could have gotten rid of the in and just written, secondly, compared to the past, the import-export of food items has become more, not alleviated, more convenient, more efficient due to an easy transportation system which saves time and money and time. For example, recent empirical research by the Indian government demonstrated that in the last 10 years, consumption of Italian and Mexican food among the people has increased due to easy availability of its core ingredients such as broccoli and zucchini. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that though international food is higher in price, people will continue to, this is the wrong word, people will continue to be attracted to it due to its uniqueness in their home country. Okay? So basically here what we have is a number of lexical word choices that are incorrect. Okay, it's not a huge problem. I mean, I could understand what you meant, but it certainly won't help you if you're aiming at a higher score here. It's consistent enough that it shows you're a risk taker, but some of those risks are not panning out for you, okay? All right, so let's move on. All right, first of all, let's talk about although. Although needs to have a clause, and what I mean is that it needs a subject and a verb. Then you add your comma. So let's get rid of this comma and say, although there is a case for international food attracting society by its rarity, the impact of local food cannot be overstated. Cannot is one word, and get rid of this comma. This is largely because it eliminates transportation costs, S, and the nutritional value within food remains constant. Take, for example, no and no comma. An extensive study by BBC which showed that the local fruits and greens are 80% more rich, or how about this, are 80% richer in vitamins, as they're not processed with chemicals, not the chemicals, get rid of the, in order to increase their durability. Consistent with this line of thinking is that a considerable amount of elements can be absorbed, okay, passive voice, by eating fresh food only. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that altogether with healthy food and price, local food has a tremendous impact on modern day life. Okay, let's look back at this. Better for the environment and economy. This is what you're supposed to talk about. To what extent do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Did you talk about the economy? You talked about durability. You talked about health. Here you talked about people wanting novelty. They want new tastes, new flavors, new appearances. Here you talked about local food, more nutritious. Yeah, more nutritious. That was the main thing. And then you mentioned something about price, but really just little, just a very tiny bit, because you mentioned transportation costs being eliminated, and here you said that it was cheaper. So my concern here now is that you haven't really discussed the elements of this task that have been presented. You were supposed to discuss better for the environment and economy. You didn't talk about either. You talked about foreign food really kind of satisfying our need for variety and our need for something new and different. And here you talked about local food being more nutritious. Neither one of these are elements that are discussed here. And so I'm very concerned now about the task achievement portion of this answer. Let's go to your conclusion. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although imported food has an invaluable contribution to our lives, the role of local foods is much healthier, as it enriches our body with minerals and vitamins without causing any damage to the environment. Okay, it is predicted that the significance of local food will increasingly grow in importance. Okay, you mentioned the environment here, and that's fine. You did really briefly talk about it here. You talked about the transportation cost, but I don't think by any means that it was well supported, it was well extended. It was just a mention, and that's certainly not enough to get you a higher score for task achievement, okay? You need to definitely do a little more work here to get a score which is probably desirable for task achievement. Other than that, there were some issues that I already corrected, little things. I mean, it was understandable. I could understand your paragraphs. It was coherent, so in that respect, it was fine. But again, there are some things that you needed to fix. Grammar mistakes throughout, okay? Let's go to your next task. Shh. All right, let's talk now about your task 1, Albion. Apology for not showing up, let's say. To the University of Albion Examination Committee. All right, now check it out. When you get the sheet with your task for task 1, you're going to see that it says, start your letter, dear, ... Now, you have to pay close attention to that. I'm assuming that the letter will not say to. So just get into the habit of reading that and following whatever instruction it gives you, okay? But most likely it will tell you to start your letter dear ... And then you can fill in the name or whatever that you want to put there. I'm writing to you in response to your letter regarding my uninformed absence in the economics exam, which was held on 12th of January. My name is Karishma Shah. Okay, and I would like to first apologize for my mistake of not informing the university authorities regarding my absence. Okay, so far so good. I don't really care for this word to embark on. You embark on a journey, you embark on an adventure, but you certainly don't embark in an explanation or on an explanation. Okay, so let's skip that word completely and say, to begin, comma, the day before the examination, I started feeling Unconsciousness? Not really. You don't feel unconsciousness. Unconsciousness is just something that happens to you. So I started feeling faint due to dehydration. I don't care for this, I suppose. It's a little too informal, a little too conversational. I started to feel faint due to dehydration, and after that, I directly remember the scene where I opened my eyes at the hospital on the day of the examination. The doctor said that some man from my building called an ambulance as he found me in an unconscious condition on the staircase of my building. Due to technology, I did not, okay, we don't use contractions in a formal letter ever. I did not happen to remember any of the contact numbers, including my classmates, and hence I failed to inform the university as well. I would like to specify now that I have already submitted my medical certificates as evidence to the administration office. Admin is, again, a little too informal. To rectify this issue, I request you to allocate me another date to take the exam or grant me a grade based on my previous performance and internal scores. I sincerely apologize to you once again and solicit your kind cooperation. Yours faithfully. Okay, fine. Everything here is good. And you did something that made me really, really happy. Let me tell you what it is. I read tons of these letters all the time. You apologized. You identified yourself, no problem. Except you didn't give a case number. You were supposed to give a student number and a case number. You only gave me one, so careful there. An examiner will probably look at this kind of thing. So make sure you include both. And then an explanation. You gave a very detailed explanation, so that part was great. No problems, no worries. But what you did that made me really happy was this right here. Your fourth bullet. You gave 2 options, and that's what made me really excited, because most people neglect to notice this, and instead they just give one resolution. You said, give me another date or give me a grade based on my performance in the class. So that's perfect. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give them plural resolutions, not just one. All right, I'm glad you noticed that. I'm glad you did it, so good job there. Okay, you have enough information, I think, to understand where the strong points and where the negative points of these essays were. Go ahead and correct them, add the errors to your error correction list, and send us your next set of essays. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'll be waiting for them. Good luck to you.